Birmingham is a city and metropolitan borough in the West Midlands, England. It is the largest and most populous British city outside London with 1,101,360 residents, and its population increase of 88,400 residents between the 2001 and 2011 censuses was greater than that of any other British local authority. The city lies within the West Midlands built-up area, the third most populous built-up area in the United Kingdom with 2,440,986 residents, and its metropolitan area is the United Kingdom's second most populous with 3,701,107 residents and is also the ninth largest metropolitan area in Europe. A medium-sized market town during the medieval period, Birmingham grew to international prominence in the 18th century at the heart of the Midlands Enlightenment and subsequent Industrial Revolution, which saw the town at the forefront of worldwide advances in science, technology and economic development, producing a series of innovations that laid many of the foundations of modern industrial society. By 1791 it was being hailed as the first manufacturing town in the world. Birmingham's distinctive economic profile, with thousands of small workshops practicing a wide variety of specialized and highly skilled trades, encouraged exceptional levels of creativity and innovation and provided a diverse and resilient economic base for industrial prosperity that was to last into the final quarter of the 20th century. Its resulting high level of social mobility also fostered a culture of broad-based political radicalism, that under leaders from Thomas Attwood to Joseph Chamberlain was to give it a political influence unparalleled in Britain outside London, and a pivotal role in the development of British democracy. From the summer of 1940 to the spring of 1943, Birmingham was bombed heavily by the German Luftwaffe in what is known as the Birmingham Blitz. The damage done to the city's infrastructure, in addition to a deliberate policy of demolition and new building by planners, led to extensive demolition and redevelopment in subsequent decades. Today Birmingham's economy is dominated by the service sector. The city is a major international commercial center, ranked as a Beta-World City by the Globalization and World Cities Research Network, and an important transport, retail, events and conference hub. Its metropolitan economy is the second largest in the United Kingdom with a GDP of $121.1 billion. And its 6 universities make it the largest centre of higher education in the country outside London. Birmingham's major cultural institutions, including the City of Birmingham Symphony Orchestra, the Birmingham Royal Ballet, the Birmingham Repertory Theatre, the Library of Birmingham and the Barber Institute of Fine Arts, enjoy international reputations. And the city has vibrant and influential grassroots art, music, literary and culinary scenes. Birmingham is the 4th most visited city in the UK by foreign visitors. People from Birmingham are called Brummies, a term derived from the city's nickname of Brum. This originates from the city's dialect name, Brummagem, which may in turn have been derived from one of the city's earlier names, Bromagem. There is a distinctive Brummie accent and dialect. History. Prehistory and medieval Birmingham's early history is that of a remote and marginal area. The main centres of population, power and wealth in the pre-industrial English Midlands lay in the fertile and accessible river valleys of the Trent, the Severn and the Avon. The area of modern Birmingham lay in between, on the upland Birmingham Plateau and within the densely wooded and sparsely populated Forest of Arden. There is evidence of early human activity in the Birmingham area, dating back 10,000 years, with Stone Age artifacts suggesting seasonal settlements, overnight hunting parties and woodland activities such as tree felling. The many burnt mounds that can still be seen around the city indicate that modern humans first intensively settled and cultivated the area during the Bronze Age, when a substantial but short-lived influx of population occurred between 1700 BC and 1000 BC. possibly caused by conflict or immigration in the surrounding area. During the 1st century Roman conquest of Britain, the forested country of the Birmingham Plateau formed a barrier to the advancing Roman legions, who built the large Metchley fort in the area of modern-day Edgbaston in AD 48, and made it the focus of a network of Roman roads. Birmingham as a settlement dates from the Anglo-Saxon era. The city's name comes from the Old English Beormingham, meaning the home or settlement of the Beormingers, indicating that Birmingham was established in the 6th or early 7th century as the primary settlement of an Anglian tribal grouping and region of that name. Despite this early importance, by the time of the Domesday Book of 1086, the manor of Birmingham was one of the poorest and least populated in Warwickshire, valued at only 20 shillings, with the area of the modern city divided between the counties of Warwickshire, Staffordshire, and Worcestershire. The development of Birmingham into a significant urban and commercial centre began in 1166. When the lord of the manor, Peter de Birmingham, obtained a charter to hold a market at his castle, and followed this with the creation of a planned market town and seigneurial borough within his domain or manorial estate, around the site that became the Bull Ring. This established Birmingham as the primary commercial centre for the Birmingham Plateau at a time when the area's economy was expanding rapidly, with population growth nationally leading to the clearance, cultivation and settlement of previously marginal land. Within a century of the charter, Birmingham had grown into a prosperous urban centre of merchants and craftsmen. By 1327 it was the third largest town in Warwickshire, a position it would retain for the next 200 years. Early modern. The principal governing institutions of medieval Birmingham, including the Guild of the Holy Cross and the Lordship of the de Birmingham family, collapsed between 1536 and 1547, leaving the town with an unusually high degree of social and economic freedom and initiating a period of transition and growth. By 1700 Birmingham's population had increased 15-fold and the town was the 5th largest in England and Wales. The importance of the manufacture of iron goods to Birmingham's economy was recognised as early as 1538, and grew rapidly as the century progressed. Equally significant was the town's emerging role as a centre for the iron merchants who organised finance, supplied raw materials and traded and marketed the industry's products. By the 1600s, Birmingham formed the commercial hub of a network of forges and furnaces stretching from South Wales to Cheshire, and its merchants were selling finished manufactured goods as far afield as the West Indies. These trading links gave Birmingham's metalworkers access to much wider markets, allowing them to diversify away from lower-skilled trades producing basic goods for local sale, towards a broader range of specialist, higher-skilled and more lucrative activities. By the time of the English Civil War, Birmingham's booming economy, its expanding population, and its resulting high levels of social mobility and cultural pluralism, had seen it develop new social structures very different from those of more established areas. Relationships were built around pragmatic commercial linkages rather than the rigid paternalism and deference of feudal society, and loyalties to the traditional hierarchies of the established church and aristocracy were weak. The town's reputation for political radicalism and its strongly parliamentarian sympathies saw it attacked by royalist forces in the Battle of Birmingham in 1643, and it developed into a centre of Puritanism in the 1630s and as a haven for nonconformists from the 1660s. The 18th century saw this tradition of free thinking and collaboration blossom into the cultural phenomenon now known as the Midlands Enlightenment. The town developed into a notable centre of literary, musical, artistic and theatrical activity, and its leading citizens, particularly the members of the Lunar Society of Birmingham, became influential participants in the circulation of philosophical and scientific ideas among Europe's intellectual elite. The close relationship between Enlightenment Birmingham's leading thinkers and its major manufacturers, in men like Matthew Boulton and James Keir, they were often in fact the same people, made it particularly important for the exchange of knowledge between pure science and the practical world of manufacturing and technology. This created a chain reaction of innovation, forming a pivotal link between the earlier scientific revolution and the industrial revolution that would follow. Industrial Revolution. Birmingham's explosive industrial expansion started earlier than that of the textile manufacturing towns of the north of England, and was driven by different factors. Instead of the economies of scale of a low-paid, unskilled workforce producing a single bulk commodity such as cotton or wool in large, mechanized units of production, Birmingham's industrial development was built on the adaptability and creativity of a highly paid workforce with a strong division of labor, practicing a broad variety of skilled specialist trades and producing a constantly diversifying range of products. In a highly entrepreneurial economy of small, often self-owned workshops, this led to exceptional levels of inventiveness. Between 1760 and 1850, the core years of the Industrial Revolution, Birmingham residents registered over 3 times as many patents as those of any other British town or city. The demand for capital to feed rapid economic expansion also saw Birmingham grow into a major financial centre with extensive international connections. Lloyd's Bank was founded in the town in 1765, and Ketley's Building Society, the world's first building society, in 1775. By 1800, the West Midlands had more banking offices per head than any other region in Britain, including London. Innovation. 18th century Birmingham often took the form of incremental series of small-scale improvements to existing products or processes, but also included major developments that lay at the heart of the emergence of industrial society. In 1709, the Birmingham-trained Abraham Darby I moved to Coalbrookdale in Shropshire and built the first blast furnace to successfully smelt iron ore with coke, transforming the quality, volume and scale on which it was possible to produce cast iron. In 1732, Lewis Paul and John Wyatt invented roller spinning, the one novel idea of the first importance in the development of the mechanized cotton industry. In 1741, they opened the world's first cotton mill in Birmingham's Upper Priory. In 1746, John Roebuck invented the lead chamber process, enabling the large-scale manufacture of sulfuric acid. And in 1780, James Keir developed a process for the bulk manufacture of alkali, together marking the birth of the modern chemical industry. In 1765, Matthew Boulton opened the Soho manufactory, pioneering the combination and mechanization under one roof of previously separate manufacturing activities through a system known as rational manufacture. As the largest manufacturing unit in Europe, this came to symbolize the emergence of the factory system. Most significant, however, was the development in 1776 of the industrial steam engine by James Watt and Matthew Boulton, freeing for the first time the manufacturing capacity of human society from the limited availability of hand, water and animal power. This was arguably the pivotal moment of the entire Industrial Revolution and a key factor in the worldwide increases in productivity that would follow over the following century. Regency and Victorian Birmingham rose to national political prominence in the campaign for political reform in the early 19th century, with Thomas Atwood and the Birmingham Political Union bringing the country to the brink of civil war during the days of May that preceded the passing of the Great Reform Act in 1832. The Union's meetings on Newhall Hill in 1831 and 1832 were the largest political assemblies Britain had ever seen. Lord Durham, who drafted the Act, wrote that the country owed reform to Birmingham, and its salvation from revolution. This reputation for having shaken the fabric of privilege to its base in 1832 led John Bright to make Birmingham the platform for his successful campaign for the Second Reform Act of 1867, which extended voting rights to the urban working class. Birmingham's tradition of innovation continued into the 19th century. Birmingham was the terminus for both of the world's first two long-distance railway lines, the 82-mile Grand Junction Railway of 1837 and the 112-mile London and Birmingham Railway of 1838. Birmingham schoolteacher Rowland Hill invented the postage stamp and created the first modern universal postal system in 1839. Alexander Parkes invented the first man-made plastic in the jewelry quarter in 1855. By the 1820s, an extensive canal system had been constructed, giving greater access to natural resources and fuel for industries. During the Victorian era, the population of Birmingham grew rapidly to well over 500,000, and Birmingham became the second largest population centre in England. Birmingham was granted city status in 1889 by Queen Victoria. Joseph Chamberlain, Mayor of Birmingham and later an MP, and his son Neville Chamberlain, who was Lord Mayor of Birmingham and later the British Prime Minister, are two of the most well-known political figures who have lived in Birmingham. The city established its own university in 1900. 20th century and contemporary Birmingham suffered heavy bomb damage during World War II's Birmingham Blitz. The city was also the scene of two scientific discoveries that were to prove critical to the outcome of the war. Otto Frisch and Rudolf Peels first described how a practical nuclear weapon could be constructed in the Frisch-Peels Memorandum of 1940. The same year that the cavity magnetron, the key component of radar and later of microwave ovens, was invented by John Randall and Henry Boot. Details of these two discoveries, together with an outline of the first jet engine invented by Frank Whittle in nearby Rugby, were taken to the United States by the Tizard mission in September 1940. In a single black box later described by an official American historian as the most valuable cargo ever brought to our shores, the city was extensively redeveloped during the 1950s and 1960s. This included the construction of large tower block estates, such as Castle Vale. The Bull Ring was reconstructed and New Street Station was redeveloped. In the decades following World War II, the ethnic makeup of Birmingham changed significantly, as it received waves of immigration from the Commonwealth of Nations and beyond. The city's population peaked in 1951 at 1,113,000 residents. Birmingham remained by far Britain's most prosperous provincial city as late as the 1970s, with household incomes exceeding even those of London and the South East. But its economic diversity and capacity for regeneration declined in the decades that followed World War II as central government sought to restrict the city's growth and disperse industry and population to the stagnating areas of Scotland, Wales and northern England. These measures hindered the natural self-regeneration of businesses in Birmingham, leaving it top-heavy with the old and infirm, and the city became increasingly dependent on the motor industry. The recession of the early 1980s saw Birmingham's economy collapse, with unprecedented levels of unemployment and outbreaks of social unrest in inner-city districts. In recent years, many parts of Birmingham has been transformed, with the redevelopment of the Bull Ring shopping centre and regeneration of old industrial areas such as Brindley Place, the Mailbox and the International Convention Centre. Old streets, buildings and canals have been restored, the pedestrian subways have been removed and the inner ring road has been rationalised. In 1998, Birmingham hosted the 24th G8 Summit. Government. Birmingham City Council is the largest local authority in Europe with 120 councillors representing 40 wards. Its headquarters are at the Council House in Victoria Square. As of 2014, the council has a Labour Party majority and is led by Sir Albert Bohr, replacing the previous Conservative, Liberal Democrat coalition at the May 2012 elections. The honour and dignity of a Lord Mayoralty was conferred on Birmingham by letters patent on 3 June 1896. Birmingham's 10 parliamentary constituencies are represented in the House of Commons as of 2015 by 1 Conservative and 9 Labour MPs. In the European Parliament, the city forms part of the West Midlands European Parliament constituency, which elects 6 members of the European Parliament. Birmingham was originally part of Warwickshire, but expanded in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, absorbing parts of Worcestershire to the south and Staffordshire to the north and west. The city absorbed Sutton Coldfield in 1974 and became a metropolitan borough in the new West Midlands County. Until 1986, the West Midlands County Council was based in Birmingham city centre. Since 2011, Birmingham has formed part of the Greater Birmingham and Solihull Local Enterprise Partnership along with neighbouring authorities Bromsgrove, Cannock Chase, East Staffordshire, Lichfield, Redditch, Solihull, Tamworth, Wyre Forest. A top-level government body, the West Midlands Combined Authority, will be formed in April 2016. The WMCA will gain devolved powers in transport, development planning, and economic growth. The authority will be governed by a directly mayor, similar to the Mayor of London.